Alex Pino, K-Side Press, and I'm here with Chris Daukaus, who returns to action next weekend at UFC Columbus. How are you?
I'm doing really good, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course, man. It's always a pleasure to talk with you, man. First of all, epic beard.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice. It's nice. It's I'm trying not to get it too long, like if it goes too long, you're grappling, like people trying to get chokes in. It's like they're not really like grabbing it on purpose, but it just happens. So you got to keep it a certain length.
Well, it looks epic, bro, and I'm glad you finally went with the beard.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Same here. I've been waiting years to do it. My wife loves it, and I'm definitely not getting rid of it anytime soon.
Perfect, man. You're 9 days out. How you feeling?
Feeling really good. Like really good. Mentally, I'm in a good spot. Physically, I feel great. No injuries or anything like that. So, yeah, man, I'm really excited to be back in front of the crowd, especially with the main event spot. Like, it's really good. I honestly can't wait to get out there. Like, I haven't been this excited for a fight in a very long time. Like, this is like it's like I found it again. It's like it's all new to me again. So, yeah, the Derek Lewis loss left obviously a bad taste in my mouth. No one likes to lose, particularly me for whatever reason, that competitiveness and that competitive drive I have. So, yeah, yeah, I just really can't wait, man. Really can't wait to get back out there.
Well, I want to touch on that Derek Lewis fight in a second, but
Yeah.
did you think you'd be main eventing back-to-back fight cards, 6 fights in
No,
your UFC career?
no, no. I thought that was like the UFC's like, hey, we'll give you a shot. Let's see how you do against the main event against Derek Lewis. We'll we'll see the feedback on what the fans are saying and everything like that. And I went out there, lost, and I thought, okay, back to prelims or whatever it's gonna be. I was expecting 3 5-minute round fights. I wasn't expecting to get a guy like Curtis Blades. I was expecting maybe another top 10 guy, but not obviously Curtis is a top 10 guy, but I'm not in the top 5. I wasn't expecting that, and then the whole main event status was really crazy. Obviously, I'm not going to say no to that. So yeah, the UFC called, and I said, absolutely, yeah, I have nothing to do. Yes, I will gladly get in a fist fight then. Yeah.
Now that you got a UFC trading card.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So
now,
that's yeah. So the official one is coming out. The one I posted on my Instagram, that was like a fan made guy, but the official one is coming out. It was supposed to come out last month. But apparently there was a problem with the manufacturer and the printer, so it got pushed back a month. So today's what, St. Patty's Day, so it should be coming out. I think in like I think it's Tuesday. It's supposed to drop. So everyone who keeps asking me about the cards, I don't get the cards. It's not like the UFC sends like a semi trailer to my house and just unloads all the cards. All right, you got to buy like packs of them and stuff like that. So stop asking me for cards. I don't have them.
but it's so cool. I mean, did you ever think you'd be on a card?
No, it was no. That it was once my manager Hector, Empire Sports Management, he told me that they were going to put me on a card and make it official, and I had to sign a bunch of stuff. So there's going to be my cards out there. There's going to be signed cards out there. It didn't like really hit me until I started signing them all, and then like I got a preview of it, and that's when it like really became real, that it was like it was really cool that I'm actually on a trading card. Like it's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome, man, and I'm sure every pro athlete dreams of it. That's just cool.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think I'd get one. I didn't think like people wanted my trading cards, but apparently people want my trading card, which is super weird to think about. Like, people want like memorabilia for me. I get messages all the time like, hey man, I'll pay for your stuff, just let me get something, sign something, just let me get something. And I'm like, I don't know, man, maybe. So we'll see.
So it's been 8 months since not being a full-time police officer, right?
Yeah,
around that time.
Yeah, so my official last day, like my resigning day, was December 1st, but I wasn't at work I was using up all my time because the city said you pretty much have to use your time or we're going to cut you a check, but the check wasn't worth it as far as the conversion. So I just said, okay, I'll just take my time. And yeah, it's been about 8 months. It's
How'd
really
that
great.
feel? How's it?
It's really great, man. Like it's great. I don't know why I had a job in the first place. I don't know why I didn't do this sooner. No, man, but yeah, like I just when I left, the immediate stress, the immediate worry, it literally felt like, people say like the weight like gets lifted off their shoulders. Like it was gone, and I was free. It felt really good. I'm not going back. I'm not going back. I'm not doing that ever again. So yeah.
I got one quick question about your time
Yeah.
as a cop. So remember back with the show Cops, and
Yeah.
there would be sometimes on the show there'd be like these big unathletic fat cops, and
Yeah.
we would chase the criminal, and sometimes the criminal would get away. Was there ever a
Yeah.
time where a guy probably thought you were a big cop, but they soon
Yeah.
found out that you were a pro athlete?
Yeah. So my personal record for foot pursuits, I'm 22 and 21. So out of 22 foot pursuits, I got 21 of them. One guy got away. That guy, I don't know where he went. I lost him in an alleyway. We cut the alleyway off, everything. He legit, like pop smoke, vanished. I don't know where he went. He could have been on a roof. He wasn't on a roof. He could have like buried himself like under trash. I don't know what the hell, where the hell he went. But dude, 21 for 22. That's my record. I'm super happy with my foot pursuit record.
So you're
There
saying,
was, yeah, dude. There was a time. There was the one I'll never forget it. My partner at the time, George Lane. We go to grab this guy. I had a gun on him, and he's halfway up a block, and I get out of the car, and George goes, "You're not going to catch him." I go, "I'm grabbing him. I'm totally grabbing him." I ended up chasing this dude for 10 blocks, and when I say chase, I mean after like 3 blocks, I was like jogging. I was like a speed walking. That's what I was doing. I wasn't running after this guy because at that time I was like 285 pounds, close to like 300 pounds. I wasn't catching this dude, but I got him. Eventually got him, but yeah, that was horrific. That was a bad judgment part on myself. So yeah, it's good.
so you're saying the dude that got away was basically Spider-Man and just
Dude, he was the fastest man alive. He scaled this fence, and he jumped this fence. Now I'm 6'3", 6'4" on a good day, and I could look over the fence, and I'm like, oh, no problem. And he scaled this fence, was through a yard, and then through another yard, and I'm like, all right, well, this dude's the fastest man alive. I'm never catching this guy. So yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, some of these the people that were chasing, super athletic, and I'm like, oh yeah, plus I got 30 pounds of gear on. I was like 270 pounds, 280 pounds, and I'm trying to climb a 6-foot fence. It's not good. It's not a good look. It's not a good look, man.
Oh man, that's wild. That's wild. Oh man. Well, I guess those days are behind you now.
Yeah. Days are definitely behind me. I'm not jumping any fences. I'm not hopping fences through yards. I'm not doing any of that. I can't wait.
Man, that's great. So I wanted to touch on the Derek Lewis fight.
Okay.
Man, it was a huge fight.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't go your way. I just wanted to know what the emotions were like that night.
I felt great. I wasn't starstruck. I wasn't taken back by the moment. I was fully in. I was fully prepared for everything. There was no outside contributing factors that I can use as an excuse as to why I lost. I felt ready. I felt ready to go. I felt on point. Derek Lewis just walked me down, as Derek Lewis does, and he unloads on people. And my chin couldn't hold up. He pinned me against the cage and he finished me. There's really nothing more I can say about that performance. But speaking from the physical aspect, how I felt physically, I felt fine. There was no injuries going into that fight. Mentally, I was ready. I was ready to fight. It wasn't like I was concerned about with things at home. It wasn't like I wasn't dialed in. I was ready to go. I was ready to take everything that Derek Lewis had. And yeah, he won. He did what he had to do, and he finished me. There's no shame in that. And the loss, stung. It hurt a lot. But I worked on myself. I worked on myself mentally, and I'm in a really good place right now.
Gotcha, man. Yeah, I was there that night, and you
Yeah.
seem like you were in good spirits. I guess it's what were when did you fly home, and I guess what were the kind of the few days afterwards?
Um. So I flew home the next morning. Went out with the team that night. Um. Went out, just had dinner. Talked about everything. Talked about how we were feeling, the journey we've been on up until that point. Just how everything's been coming together. Emotions were good. I flew home Sunday. Sunday, it really like hit home about everything. I get real emotional after losses or after wins. Like I get the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. I was really upset when I landed in Philadelphia. Um, really upset, for this. Really worked on it and worked on my mental health, especially with my wife, and just doing what I need to do.
So when you were watching 271 and Tai Tuivasa knocks out Derek Lewis, were you thinking like that should have been me?
Yeah, and I said it before. Should have been me, and I should have fought Derek in a large cage. I think that played a major factor. He's very good in the Apex cage. He's undefeated, I think, in the Apex cage. He's really good at closing the distance, at being able to land big shots. And if I was to fight Derek again, that's what I would be really like pushing for. Would be obviously in front of a crowd, and obviously the bigger cage.
Gotcha. So you go from the all-time leader knockout artist in the UFC
Yep.
to the best wrestler in the division.
Yeah.
What the fuck? No easy fights?
No easy fights. I don't want any easy fights. I want the best of the best. I want to test myself. So I'm going to test myself against, Curtis, and we'll see how my wrestling and my ground game is. Everyone's kind of really questioning all that. So we'll see. We'll see in like a little over a week, a little less than a week. So it'll be good.
Are you getting this fickety fan shit where like now they're like Chris Daukaus is a bum, blah 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 blah. Like you ascended, right? You ascended, and then you get one loss, and now you're a bum.
Yeah, but that's just how it is. That's how people are, man. That's just no matter what you do, whether it's fighting or if you're playing another sport or you have a bad call on something. That's just how it is, man. And that's MMA fans. That's just people in general. My DMs, everything were horrible after the Derek Lewis fight. Comments, people, all that afterwards, and even like weeks afterwards, like people were commenting, like tagging me and stuff with him and like saying shit. I'm just like, I mean, I lost, but what am I gonna do? Like, I could go the route of not allowing people to reach me and all that, but I think that is what makes MMA and that's what makes professional fighters different than every other athlete, is that you'll see us going back and forth with people on Twitter, answering DMs, doing whatever. So I think the accountability of us and the reachability, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is the access to us is what makes us different than everybody.
100%. So Curtis Blades, how did this fight come together, and were you asking for him at all?
Nope. They just said, hey, you want to fight Curtis Blades? I said, sure, no problem. It was like I said, I didn't think that I'd get a top 5 guy. I was expecting from the range of like someone who was like a 6 to 10 or from 10 to 15. Because I just figured that in my mind and my mentality, the UFC gave me the shot of a top 5 guy, and I blew it. I lost to Derek Lewis. So they weren't going to give me another top 5 guy, and they weren't going to give me certainly a main event. So I was like, okay, whenever they came calling, I was like, yeah, what's the name? And they told me, and I was like, wasn't really expecting that one, but I'll certainly take it. I'm not going to say no to a main event spot against the number 4 guy in the world. So yeah, give me that. But yeah, there was no kind of, there wasn't like a me asking for it. There wasn't any kind of a back and forth between me and Curtis about we should fight or anything like that. It was literally just like, hey, yes or no, and I was like, yeah, sure.
Savage, savage.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the matchup, man? What are your thoughts on it?
It's definitely going to be a good matchup. Obviously, he's like you said, the best heavyweight wrestler in the UFC's history, I believe, on paper, as far as takedowns in a fight. I think total takedowns as well. He's the leader in that. So, he's been getting comfortable on his feet as some of his most recent fights. So we'll see how he comes out. But you know, um, I think I match up well against it. I think that my speed and my athleticism is really good. People haven't seen my wrestling. People haven't seen my wrestling defense. So it's going to be a really good test for me, and I can't wait to shut some people up. And if he comes out wanting to test the feet a little bit, you've seen in his previous fights that he's been able to get touched, and when he gets touched, he goes right back to wrestling. So that's what I expect him to do. I expect to touch him a little bit. He's going to test the waters out on the feet, but he makes some technical mistakes, as you can see from if you study some of his film, that a few of his opponents didn't capitalize on until later in the fight, and then it was too late. But I know those mistakes, and I'm definitely going to capitalize on them, especially early in the fight.
And you've been knocking everybody out, but people don't. I mean, if they haven't been following your career and like know you started with jiu-jitsu, so you have a good ground.
I started out in jiu-jitsu. I didn't start in MMA. I didn't start in boxing. I didn't start in kickboxing. It was strictly jiu-jitsu. Got my black belt, and I like knocking people out, man. That's just what it is. Like I like knocking people out. That's just my thing. I really enjoy it. I really like punching people in the face. I really like elbowing people, leg kicks, everything. I just love that. Like, yeah, it's super cool to break somebody's arm and like to choke them unconscious, but there's something satisfying about, punching somebody in the face and they fall down and they go to sleep for a little bit. That's what I like.
That's what I've talked to hundreds of fighters, and they say that like once you feel that feeling of knocking somebody out, like you always chase it.
Yeah, and it's a bad thing to chase because you're in there, you're slinging, and it's against heavyweights. It's not like I'm fighting 25ers, man. Like, look at my last fight against Derek Lewis, and I woke up and I'm looking at the ref and I'm like, fuck, like, dang. And I'm in the back, I'm getting like stitches and shit in my head, stitches in my ear. And my wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I should have did that. And she's like, yeah, you should have did that. I was like, no shit. So yeah, dude, it's the nature of the beast. I like it. I like that added level of anxiety, that added level of excitement, that risk. That's what I like. So.
I mean, it's understandable. It's understandable.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how does this fight play out? And do you have a prediction for the fight?
Yeah, I'm gonna win. It doesn't matter to me how I win. No, I mean I fully expect. I'm not a fool. I'm not dumb. I fully expect him to come out, test the feet a little bit, test how my striking is, see how he feels comfortable with that, and then do what he does best, man. He's gonna wrestle. I expect to be up against the cage. I'm not an idiot. I expect to be on my back at some point in this fight. I've already accepted that, and that's just how it is. That's unless I pull out some miraculous takedown defense where the greatest on paper, the heavyweight wrestler can't take me down, and I figured it all out. That's going to be something different. But I just plan on putting my hands on him, and if he can keep it, if he can keep up, he can keep up. If he can't, so be it. I'll walk out there and get my hand raised. But I don't see him keeping up. I mean, he's very good at fighting at his pace. The moment people start pushing the pace on him or dictating what they want to do, that's when things start to go crazy for him. He starts to panic wrestle a little bit. So we'll see what happens.
And it's kind of crazy. Like you both finished Shamil. You both got finished by Derek Lewis. So it's kind of just
very, very compromised. Yeah, comparable to our recent fights. But yeah, so
Who had the better finish
see.
over Shamil in your opinion?
I
Yours?
did. Get the hell out. Get out of here. What are you talking about? I couldn't believe you even asked that question. Get out of here. What kind of question is that? He was just like he was ground and pound. He was ground and pound for a whole round and a half, and the ref was like, "All right, that's enough. Okay, that's enough." No, I knocked Shamil out twice. I knocked him out at the end of the first, and it's like there's spit flying everywhere. I had Paul Felder doing the Eagles chant, and John Anik upset with me because Paul was bringing the Eagles up. Dude, definitely me.
Hey, I don't know. I was asking maybe you liked his elbows or something like that. I don't know.
Nah. Mine's totally better. 100%
better. Finally, you're fighting in Ohio. I just want your thoughts on that. And how far away is that from Philadelphia?
Never been to Ohio. I drove through Ohio. Never really had a reason to stop in Ohio. So driving to Ohio, that's probably like an 8-hour trip. I think that's what it is. Flying is only like an hour and 45 minutes, hour and a half, something like that. So it's a super short flight. I don't have to worry about what movies I'm going to watch going out to Vegas, because Vegas is like a 5-hour trip for me, coming from Philadelphia. So it's going to be good. Yeah, but really excited to be, back in front of the crowd. I only got that taste once, so we'll see how it goes. And we'll see how the rest of, like fight week goes, and like media day and all that goes. So I'm really excited about that.
Man, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Chris. I really appreciate it, man. I love chopping it up with you. You want to thank any sponsors, plug your social media, thank anybody else? The floor is yours.
Yeah, so appreciate you for allowing me to have this platform, especially us being buddies and going back and forth online all the time. Fubel Hunt, A&M Fleet, all those guys. Performance Meal Prep, I really appreciate all those guys. Everybody I work with day in and day out, you guys are really great. The day crew, the big no-gi guys that are always wrestling me, Pat Brady, Ryan Appleby, John, Kale, I really appreciate those guys, not just for this camp, but for every other camp leading up. So thank you, and everybody at Martinez BJJ.